Three, two. Perfect.
Nice.
That'll be great. We're gonna keep that. Eric Venable, I'm the buyer here of our wild foraged goods. Some of the mushrooms we carry in no particular order: pupinis, king oyster, matsutakis, abalone, bluefoots, chanterelles. The bluefoots come from Holland. Shimeji's, maitakis, baby shiitakes, lobster mushrooms, porcinis, a couple other like scarce ones.
Hello everyone, I'm Katya, and I'm here in Taste Kitchen with Chef Josiah.
Today, we're going to be going over some mushrooms. We have a lot of different varieties, and I'm going to be going over 5 of them today. Over here, we have a king mushroom. And king mushrooms are very big, they're very steaky, and as you can see and feel, they're very, very firm. So these are going to have a nice, meaty texture, and they're really good for a garnish, which we're going to use them for today.
Cool.
And then over here, we have some wild chanterelles. And as you can see, they grow in the ground. You can even tell like where they're growing from. Like say this one was at the bottom of a pine tree. You can see some of the pine tree needles and stuff in there. I find these ones to be pretty savory. And I like using them in sautés and different stuff like that. These go really, really well with fish. Once you cook them, they tend to get a nice dark golden brown. As opposed to these, which are black trumpet mushrooms, when you cook them up, they're just really dark. These are really, really delicious. They have a little bit more of a lighter flavor than the chanterelles do, and as you can feel too, they're a lot thinner, and like that center piece right in here is very hollow, as opposed to the chanterelles, which are very full. And these ones are going to have a little bit more of a meaty texture to them. Now over here, we have some of my favorite mushrooms, which are brown beech. Especially to use in like stir fries and stuff like that. Like, you know, when you make mushrooms, they can be a little bit mushy. These ones are really hard to make mushy.
So they're easier to use.
They're easier to use. You can put them in salads, you can put them in burgers, you can use them as toppers. They're delicious. And then over here we have something really unique. It's what's called a lobster mushroom. And the lobster mushroom isn't necessarily a mushroom in and of itself. It's a fungus that attacks other funguses. And so what happens is this is eating another mushroom, and it's living off of that, and that's what causes the coloration on it. I find these to be a little bit sweeter and savory, almost like a lobster, but without the seafood flavor. But they also have this really gorgeous red color on them, which I absolutely love. So today, what we'll be doing is we're going to make a sauté out of these 3 mushrooms here, and then we're going to garnish our omelette with a king mushroom, and then we're also going to make a mushroom cream sauce out of the lobster mushroom. You're telling me that the lobster mushroom is in fact a fungus of a mushroom?
What's that? Basically like transforms the mushroom. Almost like kind of like a zombie thing where it takes a different kind of mushroom. I know it affects porcinis, matsutakis, some that are otherwise people don't really eat. Like,
okay. if you can see here, I'll show you and show the camera. There is a little bit of dirt right there on the mushroom. Now, there is a little bit of a controversy between chefs on how you should clean this. A lot of chefs brush them to get rid of the dirt. You can go like that, or if you have a small little brush. Some chefs wash them. Some chefs don't even touch it. Me personally, I like to wash them. Only because even though this entire piece is sterile, and it has to be in order for the mushrooms to grow, you still got that dirt on there.
Sure.
And I don't want the flavor of dirt in my sauce, and I don't want that grittiness in my sauce or in the omelet. All right, so after you rinse them off, bring them over to a paper towel, spread them out a little bit, and then a quick way to get them dry is just roll them up like this. Give them the old one too. And they are going to be pretty dry. Now over here, I have a nice hot pan with some of my bacon drippings. And if you see here, I'm going to shred the chanterelles up a little bit. Now I'm doing this because the trumpet mushrooms are a lot thinner than the chanterelles. And so if they are all as thin as the other ones, they should be able to cook up pretty easily. There we go. Just pop these guys right in there. Beach mushrooms in. Hit it with a little salt, a little pepper, and just for funsies, I've got a little bit extra of the bacon fat here that I'm going to throw in there. Mushrooms can really absorb the fat flavor, and that'll give it further fortification of that meaty texture, is what we're really looking for. While I'm doing this, while these are sauteing, what I'm going to ask you to do is take this lobster mushroom cream sauce, which I've started. You can blend it up and strain it. That would be fantastic. It's not hot. While you're doing that, I'm going to create a garnish for our omelet here. And we're going to do that by splitting the king mushroom in half. Now, so you have this nice, big, flat, meaty texture to work with. And what I'm going to do is skewer it. Now, you're only looking to go maybe like 1/8 of an inch in at most. And here, take a look.
Wow.
So you're splitting it apart, and then if you start the cross hatch, it's going to look really cool when we put it on top of the omelet. Cool. Just go ahead and strain that. If you want to take a look too over here, as your mushrooms saute, especially with your more delicate mushrooms, they tend to purge a little bit of liquid with them. And you can see just as your liquid starts to dry in your pan, that's when your saute is going to be complete. What you want to start to do is get a little bit of caramelization on the mushrooms, and that's what's going to be able to give it that nice, firm, meaty texture as opposed to like that gross, mushy stuff. Alright, so let's turn this off. Ooh.
Okay.
Taste. That's yummy.
Oh, yeah.
So that's going to go right on top of the omelet. You were saying you don't like mushrooms?
I changed my mind.
Oh. Alright, so these guys are done. I'm going to set them aside. Our next step here is to grab our garnishes. Just put a little olive oil in the pan, and you're going to put them down like this. What you're going to do is get a sear on it, just like a steak or just like a piece of chicken. And because it's striated like that, what's going to happen is it's going to pinch together the protein structures on the top, but the ones on the bottom are still going to stay loose. So it's almost going to like expand it a little bit, and you'll see once they pop up.
Mushrooms come from just about any area with a high moisture content. Mushroom country really is Washington State, and that's where we get the majority of our product from, both cultivated and wild. A lot of places are set up out there to cultivate mushrooms. A great place for matsutakis, chanterelles, black trumpets, A lot of those wild ones grow out there, and even the porcinis, which everybody loves.
Now, when you're making an omelet, it's important that you have it in like a medium-low heat.
Okay.
The reason is you don't want to get that brown on your omelet. You don't want to burn omelet. However, there's a little bit of a debate as far as like American-style omelets or diner-style omelets versus French-style omelets. So we're going to do this one in a French style where we're not going to get any color on it, and it's going to be nice and smooth. Some people prefer to cook with butter, clarified butter, or oil. I prefer oil just because it's a little bit more plain. Now you can also finish the omelet off with a little butter on top, a little bit of whole butter, and that's going to melt and give you that really nice mouthfeel. A little bit of oil in the pan. Stir it around a little bit. Go ahead and pour our eggs in.
A nice bright yolk.
It is a really nice bright yolk, and it's at this point too you want to be able to season your eggs a little bit. If you have the farm-raised eggs or the organic ones, they don't always need it. All right. So you can see this pan is perfect temperature. I just put these eggs on. The edge is starting to get a little bit cooked. And what you want to do as soon as you start your omelet, get your eggs moving right away, and that's going to prevent any browning from happening. When you know your omelet's ready to add your ingredients and flip, you'll see all the egg coagulate together. And while I'm doing this, if you want to grab a plate, that would be awesome. Now, when you're making a French omelet, one of the key factors is having that nice, smooth, glassy surface. There's a cheat to do it. Just like that. Just like that. Exactly. You can see where it's all set up around the edge. Let me tilt it up for you guys so you can see that. But it's still slightly running. And that's exactly what we're looking for. And then put our delicious mushroom mix in here. Then, should be able to. Now you can see how it's nice and light, just like that.
Very smooth.
Very, very smooth. Now some chefs will do a tri-fold, some will do a bi-fold. I'm going to just roll it and then transfer it right to the plate. Just like that. Look at that.
Beautiful.
And then grab another spoon. Some people, like I said earlier, will finish off their omelet with brushing it with a little bit of butter or finishing it with some herbs. But since we have this delicious mushroom sauce here, what we're going to do is just go right over the top. Just like that. And then we're going to add our mushroom garnish. These guys. And this guy looks really good right here. There you go. Mushroom lover's omelet.
You're good.
Show the
That's
rind.
great.
Show the rind.
Steam coming off of these lobsters.
Jono.
Ijano. You know Ijano?